It started with a message. Just a simple, "We need to talk," that lit up my phone on a Wednesday night. The kind of text that always makes your stomach sink, especially when it comes from someone like Vanessa. A woman whose presence was like a storm you never saw coming but always felt when it hit. We had been seeing each other for about 5 months, a chaotic mix of charm, sex, arguments and silence. Never truly together, never fully apart. She was beautiful, no doubt. Sharp cheekbones, green eyes that could hold a lie so tenderly you'd almost thank her for it, and a body sculpted like a secret you weren't supposed to tell. But it was her mind that scared me sometimes. Clever, calculating, and always a step ahead of what she let you see. So when she invited me to her apartment that night, I already knew something was off. I walked into her living room, dimly lit, the smell of rose incense curling into the air like a spell, and there she was, sitting on the edge of the couch, eyes glossy, a trembling hand resting on her flat stomach. "I'm pregnant," she said with that practiced fragility that made you feel cruel for doubting her. I remember my heart slowing down, not racing, the opposite of what you'd expect. I stared at her, waiting for the crack in the performance, the giveaway in the eyes, the twitch of the lips, but she held it so well that for a second I actually believed her. And then I did what she didn't expect, I smiled. Not because I was happy. Not because I was ready to be a father. But because I saw her game and I suddenly knew how to beat her at it. I had been raised by a mother who taught me to listen beyond the words people say, to study silences, to read intentions like pages left out in the sun. Vanessa didn't know that. She thought she could corner me into commitment, control, a kind of emotional servitude born from panic and guilt. But what she didn't understand was that I had already seen this trick before in a different life with a different woman, and I had sworn never again. So I played along. I knelt before her, took her hands in mine and whispered, "We'll figure it out." I kissed her stomach gently, a gesture that melted her mask for just a split second. And in that second I saw the triumph flicker behind her eyes. That's how I knew. That's when the game really began. Over the next few weeks I played the role of the concerned father-to-be. I went with her to prenatal appointments. Though suspiciously she always had reasons why I couldn't come inside. "They're backed up," she'd say. "Just wait in the car, babe." I'd nod, smile, kiss her forehead. I watched her buy baby clothes, tiny shoes. A stuffed giraffe she claimed reminded her of her childhood. I noticed how her body never changed, how her appetite stayed the same, how her wine glass always seemed to find her lips at dinner with friends. "Just a sip," she'd laugh. The evidence piled up like dust on a crime scene no one noticed. I started taking pictures. Quietly, discreetly. I documented every inconsistency, every lie, every excuse. I kept receipts, saved texts, made copies of everything. I even installed a security cam in my apartment under the pretense of protecting our new family. What I was really doing was recording conversations. The day she slipped up, she was drunk. We were in my place, candles lit, music low, she was dancing in the living room barefoot, a glass of red in her hand, swaying like someone who had already won. "You know," she giggled, "if you ever left me I'd still have the baby and you'd pay for the rest of your life." She laughed, tossed her hair, didn't notice how quiet I had gotten. I had her now. The next morning I left early, told her I had a meeting. Instead I visited a lawyer friend, showed him everything. Pictures, recordings, the voice message she left last week saying, "Don't worry, I'm taking care of it. No one's going to know." He raised his eyebrows, said it was ironclad. That night I returned with a plan. I made dinner, her favorite pasta with too much garlic like she liked it. I poured her wine, lit candles again, made everything feel like a celebration. She looked at me with suspicion, then softened when I handed her a small box. "What's this?" she asked, opening it. Inside was a tiny silver rattle engraved with the name Hope. "For the baby," I said, my voice low. She teared up, or pretended to. I could never tell anymore. "I love you," she whispered. "I know," I replied. And then I said it. "I told my family. They're thrilled. They want to throw us a baby shower in 2 weeks." Her smile faltered. "That's fast." "I know," I said. "But they're excited. I also told my friend James, you know, the lawyer, and he's already started drafting the co-parenting agreement. Nothing too formal, just something in case things go sideways. You understand." Her wine glass paused halfway to her lips. "Why would things go sideways?" I shrugged. "Life happens. It's just a formality." That's when her hands started to shake. 2 days later, she told me she had lost the baby. It was early, she sobbed. I hadn't even told the doctor yet. I was scared. I held her as she cried, and I knew every tear was a lie. She thought it was over, that the trap had failed, that she could slither away and disappear into victimhood, but I wasn't done. I waited a week, let her think she was free, and then I sent her the video. Just one clip, her drunk laughing, saying I'd be paying for the rest of my life. No context. No explanation. I sent it to her boss. I sent it to her mother. I sent it to her ex, the one she always raged about, said he was abusive, something I'd always doubted. I didn't say a word afterward. I disappeared. Blocked her. Changed my number. I saw the fallout from a distance. Friends who turned cold on her, whispers that spread like wildfire. I even heard she lost her job. I didn't rejoice and celebrate. I just breathed. For the first time in months, I felt clean. But it changed me. Made me colder, sharper. I realized people like Vanessa don't love you, they study you. They measure your weaknesses like a tailor fitting a suit, and then they design their love around those soft spots until you're wrapped in it, suffocating, grateful for the noose. I learned that survival sometimes means becoming the villain in someone else's story, especially when they tried to write you into a tragedy you never auditioned for. Now, when people ask me why I'm single, I just smile and say, I'm not ready. But the truth is, I'm watching. Listening. Because I know now that some storms wear perfume and some traps begin with a kiss. And next time, if there ever is one, I won't just turn the tables. I'll flip the whole damn room. After Rachel disappeared from that clinic, I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt an eerie silence settle into my life like dust on unused furniture. I kept my head down, avoided mutual friends, and focused on work. But Rachel wasn't done. A month after the dinner, I got a letter. An actual handwritten letter. In the mail. The handwriting was neat, looped like a schoolgirl's diary. She wrote that she forgave me for humiliating her, and that despite everything, she hoped we could one day find peace. The last sentence made my skin crawl. You were never supposed to be the enemy. She had signed it with a heart. I tore it up and threw it away. But she had planted something in my head that night. The idea that I had, in her mind, become the villain. And villains don't get to rest. A week later, I found out she had started seeing someone new. Tom, a bartender from a club downtown. I knew him vaguely. Decent guy. Harmless. But not someone prepared for the storm that was Rachel. Part of me wanted to warn him. Another part whispered, let him find out the way you did. But guilt gnawed at me. I reached out anonymously, sent him a message with no name, no details, just a sentence. Ask her about her last pregnancy. No response. I figured that was that. Until 2 weeks later, Rachel showed up outside my apartment. She was soaking wet, mascara running down her cheeks, eyes blazing. You think you're so clever? She spat. You think you're the only one who can play games? She stepped forward, tried to push past me. I blocked her. He laughed. A brittle, cracked sound. You destroyed me, she whispered. You wanted to win, and now you have. So tell me, are you happy? That question hung in the air. I told her to leave. He didn't. I told her I'd call the cops. That made her laugh harder. Do it, she said. You're addicted to me. Just admit it. And maybe in a way I had been. Addicted to the drama. The chase. The constant emotional warfare. Made life feel sharp, electric. I was tired now. So I closed the door in her face. That night she sent me one last message. You'll always wonder what was real. And that, perhaps, was her final act of control. Weeks passed. Then months. I tried dating again, cautiously. Every woman I met, I evaluated like a case file. Were they honest? Were they controlling? Did they want something from me I couldn't give? It wasn't fair to them, I know that now. But paranoia doesn't care about fairness. It just wants to survive. Then one night out at a friend's birthday party, I saw Rachel again. Across the room in a black dress, laughing like nothing had ever happened. He saw me too. Her eyes held mine for a moment. Not hate. Not pain. Just recognition. Like we were both survivors of the same wreckage. She didn't approach me. I didn't approach her. Maybe that was mercy. The next day Tom messaged me. One sentence, I should have listened. I didn't reply. I went for a walk instead. It was cold, drizzling. I passed a park we used to walk through back when everything was still sweet and new. I sat on a bench and watched the world move around me. And I realized something. Turning the tables hadn't just been about revenge. It had been about reclaiming control. About proving to myself that I wasn't helpless. That I wasn't a puppet. Rachel had taught me how easy it is to believe what we want to believe. That love can be a weapon. That some people will lie with tears in their eyes and conviction in their voice. But she also taught me something more important. How to protect myself without becoming like her. How to walk away with dignity even when part of you still wants to scream. I don't think she'll ever apologize. I don't think I need her to. Because the truth is I won. Not because I exposed her. Not because I embarrassed her. But because I didn't let her break me. I rebuilt. And that's the real victory.